George says, I was with my partner for 5 years and she left me because she was curious about others and treated me horribly after the breakup because I tried to be headstrong about it all. How can I mentally fix my brain to completely let go, as I know it would be best for me? All right, we'll get to that. But my question for you is that, okay, we'll get to that. But my question for you is that if you know, if you're convinced that letting it go is best for you, why are you resisting to let go? That's one question I have for you, which means I'm trying to create some thought process in you to logically think that when you have accepted and think what best is for you, why is it that you hesitate to take the best care, or offer yourself the best solution, which you are obviously convinced that is best for you? So that's one thing. But the other thing about the fact that you were with your girlfriend for 5 years and she left you because she was curious about others. So why is that your problem? Could you please tell me, why is this your problem? Why do you feel that the woman who could not respect her own interests and wishes and ended up being a sparrow jumping from one branch to another branch should continue to have your attention? Isn't it true that the first criteria for us, for anybody, to accept any mate, anyone in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, must be that that other person also wants you, not that you only want that person? So if you love a girl or like a girl and the girl doesn't reciprocate, or has reciprocated, you guys were an item, and then after a while you or her changed her mind, let's say in this case she, why is it now that she's still qualified? Because the main line of qualification to be in a relationship with someone, with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend, whoever is listening, isn't the first line of qualification that your candidate, the girl that you're interested in, should also want you, like you, want to be with you? And no matter how much you like someone, if she doesn't like you, well, she should be disqualified. Why is it that most guys, if not everybody, think that just because they see somebody pretty, then she's totally qualified to be with them, as if they're really selling themselves short, thinking that regardless of how I'm treated, regardless of what kind of a quality of consciousness or accomplishments or class or manners or morals or education or achievements this girl, this woman who I think she's beautiful has, she's qualified anyhow. Why is that? Why is it that you're living with a physical entity and a mental entity? As you know, our life is in two parts, mind and the body. The physical entity part and the mind, the energy, the thoughts process, and the, all the other things that makes us to be who we are. Part of it is intangible, is energy, is how we are put together. So why is it that when you offer yourself in two parts to become the full entity, but you expect the other side only is enough for her to only be fine and acceptable to your standards in one part of her presentation, just the physical part? Don't you think that is kind of unfair to yourself or whoever you are, that you actually treat yourself in that way. Whether you're a man or a woman, when you are taking a partner, when you are actually interested in whoever it is that you're interested in, why is it that you find it important for you to be physically presentable as best as you can, and also comply to expectations or manners or morals and compatibility in thoughts and consciousness, and find things in common and so on and so forth, but you don't expect the same from the other side? Can we figure that out? If you see that the reason that, now let's talk about boys' point of view, because this channel really started for the benefit of the boys, but now, and also because George is asking me, so I treat it as boys and girls from boys' point of view. And that is, why is it that you think you should only have one criteria of your expectations to represent all your criteria of representation? Why is it that if she's beautiful, she's also qualified in any other aspects of your expectations? Well, you should be expecting many things from a girlfriend, right? You want her to be the way that the look that you would prefer, as she would want you to have the look that she would prefer. You want her to have a certain body structure, or certain age of legal age of close to your age, or whatever it is morally acceptable and legally acceptable. You want her to be educated in a certain way. You want her to be involved in a certain profession, because these are what your girlfriend expects from you, and when they're choosing you, they're counting on it, they're looking at it. Why is it that you don't do any of these? And as soon as you have this promise of intimacy and you have a wonderful time with her, suddenly she's qualified as if she has a PhD in, I don't know, the future sciences, and she's the goddess of the universe. And of course, we all know why, because we're all programmed for procreation, and the pleasure that you receive from the intimacy of her totally controls every other expectations that you have, and you find and you feel that what you're receiving in the form of intimacy is all it is necessary for you, because the actual intimacy is what brings you the freedom that you're lacking in this world. As you know, every one of us is subjected to something in this world. I mean, the factory worker is just a factory worker being dominated and manipulated through the administration, and the anybody who's working from 9 to 5 and going to job every morning, getting up every morning and being subjected to the rules and regulations of that company, and perhaps manipulated in many ways, and expected to work as hard as they can, and they're bullied or they're not given their rights, and everybody feels like they are really not important. And the only time, the only part that they feel that they're a man, that they feel important and everything is perfect, is when they are having an intimate relationship, when they're having sex, when they're making love with their girlfriend, with their wives. And that is why it's so important for them. And that is why when you get that, you totally forgo and forgive your right to expect many other qualifications from your woman or from your girlfriend. And that is why everything goes wrong, because you have sold out all your rightful expectations for finding and locating a good candidate for a good, long-lasting relationship, and you have settled with only one, which I understand why, and we just discussed it. But that is why we end up being surprised that when she leaves, suddenly we think everything was good about her, and we have lost something, that somebody who had had everything going great with her. However, all it was the fact that you were settled with the intimacy part and you were focused on that, but many other things about her may not have been good at all. And now that she's left, you've been convinced that the intimacy replaced everything else that you expect. Now you think when she leaves, everything that you really wanted was in her, because you had already conditioned yourself to accept that she was offering you everything that you wanted. Now, however, when she leaves, regardless of how it was and wasn't, you have to focus on the truth, on the fact that she's left, which means she's no longer the person that was with you for 5 years. She's left, therefore she's unqualified now. She was qualified, or whether because of intimacy or whatever else that you found interesting in her, but at the moment, it's not even giving you that. So therefore, why are you still thinking about her? What's in it for you? Now, I want to hear back from you, George. I hope you heard the stuff that I said. I hope I wasn't talking to myself. Because I don't know how the quality is.